Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Metal Command podcast. Tony here with you. I am joined by Filippa and Linnea from the band Thundermother, who have a new album coming out here February 7th. All right, there you go. And the album's very good. Ladies, I got to be honest with you. The last album I thought was excellent. This album is obviously very, very good as well. And just a lot of really cool stuff in store for you. So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And I'm really excited to have you here. So talk about the new album. I think personally, in my opinion, I think it has a really cool 70s vibe to it. With the type of songwriting that you have. Obviously, we have an all new lineup with bringing back one of your former members, your former bass player coming back into the band. So let's talk about this. Talk about making this record and your upcoming album.
Well, stoked that you said 70s because I love the 70s.
Yeah.
I guess my guitar amp is from the 70s, so that could be the reason. But it sounds like the 70s. But I mean, it's a really broad album. Me and Linnea put a lot of effort into the songwriting together.
Yeah, we really took our time with it to make it so that we like it.
Yeah, we said from the get-go, let's not stress another album and just do it when we feel like it, song by song. And Linnea coming from a little bit more 80s hard rock influences, and me from the more 70s influences, just made a good something fresh, I think, with this album.
Yeah,
that we both love.
One of the things about it that struck me when I actually listened to the whole thing, it felt like, when I say it felt like a 70s style hard rock album, not only from the songwriting did it feel like that, but it almost felt like, back in those days, you went in, you practiced the songs, you went in and recorded them quite quickly. I mean, that's usually how they did that. And did that happen for you? Like, did you go in there, record it, boom, we're done, like they would have done back then? Or was it something along the lines of, hey, you're in the studio for 3 months doing this, or did you just do it in a week? Some people do that. I'm just curious if that's what you ended up doing for this record.
No, we did it like that. We did it analog. We rehearsed. We went in. It took 4 days to record the songs, and then I went back and did the solos in 1 day, and Linnea did the vocals here back home in Stockholm.
Yeah. Yeah, it felt like, and I say that because it felt like it has kind of a live feel to it, a little bit.
It is live.
That's what we're aiming for.
We did 3 songs a day, I think.
Something like that.
Yeah. All right. So, one of the things I thought was always interesting, you have a new lineup of people. Filippa, I think that a compliment I'm going to give to you is that the band has had quite a few lineup changes, but the one thing I always thought was interesting is that you've always managed, regardless of whoever you brought into the band, you've always managed to make some very good records. So my thing is, when you're looking for new members to bring into the band, you're looking for someone to come in, what are some of the things you look for that you see in people that you think, okay, this person's going to be a great fit? I say that because there are musicians in bands that shift a lot of people sometimes, and that the records can suffer from it, but I don't think your albums have. And I think Linnea has done a great job coming in and singing on this album. So what is it that you look for in a lot of the people you do bring into the band?
I mean, without sounding horrible, I mean, it's like an apartment. When you change an apartment, you don't go down, you go up.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, but I always admired Linnea. I wanted her to join the band already 2017.
Okay.
I always know she's a professional singer and performer. Seeing her in the rock pubs around Stockholm, and
yeah.
Also she's been singing on my demos that I made when I did demos for other bands like Girls' School and stuff like that. Linnea came in and rocked them, and so I've seen her range and her what she can do with anything. She can really do anything with her voice. Is incredible. And the drummer Joan is just someone we found on Instagram, actually. Seeing her drum clips on her Instagram, and her music taste was so similar to what I like that I reacted quickly, because most of what you see, like girls on Instagram, is like metal, or what I mean. But she was just old school, really different instantly. And so we took her up here and tried her out, Linnea, me, and my son, and asked if she wanted to join as a drummer.
Yeah. So, Dirty and Divine. Any concept behind the title? Any, is there a reasoning behind that? Is there something about the record that you decided to name it?
Could I ask you, as an English-speaking person, what that implies to you? Because for us, it's not our first language, so we have an idea of the thought behind it. But I think it would be really interesting to hear from someone who has English as their native language. Like, what connotations does that bring up for you?
So you're doing the interview.
Yeah, I know, but I'm interested.
You know what?
As a starting point for us.
Yeah. So I will tell you that it kind of brings. It's something that when I said 70s vibe, that is something a band from back then would name a record.
Right.
That's kind of what it reminded me of. I didn't have any crazy weird thoughts about that. When I saw the album, I thought, you know what? It just gave a 70s vibe to me.
Nice.
That's pretty much it. Kind of is in line with the music, right? And like I'll give you an example. A lot of 70s productions, you just brought up the 80s. Filippa just brought up about Linnea. Hey, you into more 80s stuff. If you ever notice in the 80s, a lot of bands, a lot of reverb, a lot of delay, in some of the productions, right? In the 70s, it was a little bit different. You ended up getting whatever came out of the amp, and people will describe some of the productions of those albums as kind of dirty sounding, right?
Right.
And so that is sort of what it reminded me of, right? Like when I think of, like for example, when I think of 70s Whitesnake, okay?
Right. Nice.
And so when I see that title, that is what I think.
Nice.
Now maybe I answered my own question. I don't know.
No, but the reason I asked this is because it's always nice to hear what it actually makes someone. What emotions that does it evoke in people.
Yeah.
And I guess for us, dirty and divine are so two vastly different things.
Yeah.
Something divine can't really be dirty, or can it?
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
I mean, I get the opposite type scenario with it as well,
Yeah.
but it just struck me as an album from the 70s would have a name like that. It just it's because when I think of this record, this is what I think. I don't know why I think 70s Whitesnake, but that's what I think. I mean, that's kind of what vibes it brings to me. And maybe
they have great covers too, and artwork.
They did,
definitely.
Yeah. So it really,
and they really are dirty in how they are playing and how they're singing. They definitely. So
yeah. And when you say dirty, you think you're not talking. You're thinking these guys they're not. They're playing more with a feel than they are trying to be precise about stuff.
Exactly.
And that's kind of how a lot of guitar players from the 70s were. It's just it's if you go back and listen to, I'll listen to other bands that kind of have a similar type of songwriting, and that's the first thing I think of. You're not thinking of clean and precise. You're thinking of, hey, let's go in. Let's record, the vibe is right. Let's record the record. We'll do the record in like a week. That's what a lot of bands did, and that's what the album sounds like. I mean, that's where I'm at. Hey everybody, Tony here from the Metal Command podcast. Again, I appreciate your support. Since 1998, I have hosted this show in one form or another, starting off in radio and now in the podcast format. Again, thanks for watching, and if you like what you see and hear on this show, by all means, please hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell to be notified anytime I do post a video, and if you see this program on any other form of social media, please give me a follow there. Again, I always appreciate your support.